Hello friends, welcome to my second Higurashi playthrough. We won't waste much time, however I am having quite a difficult day with talking, so sorry if I'm dead stuttery and everything. I'll try not to be. Let's go. I'm going to keep the retro sprites because I like them. Is this working? Oh. This shows you how much it's the end of the day, because I was trying to press on save. Yeah, that's going to be the kind of playthrough we're having. Oh, it's so loud. Hold on. Config. Let's just... There we go. Let me just turn my own volume down. I hope this isn't too loud for you. Let me know how levels are. Okay. Kichi-kun, let's have lunch. I might have been making a very troubled face. Rena smiled brightly at me. Alright. Let's eat. There seemed to be different cliques, even within the class. Most of them were divided up by gender and age, but our group was different. Our ages were different, and we had both boys and girls. But we weren't reserved around each other. The level of openness makes a transfer student like me pretty happy. Rena and Mion pushed their desks together so they were facing each other. At the same time, Satoko and Rika-chan were slowly lugging their desks over as well. Kichi-kun, hurry hurry! Rena waved her chopsticks in an unrefined manner, trying to hurry me along. Unless everyone was together, they wouldn't even open their lunchboxes. Kichi-san's lunchbox is most assuredly filled with nothing but bread crust, like some sort of destitute plebeian. What kind of word is that? Oh my god, she means like a pleb, right? Why don't you just show it to us? Come now. Even though Satoko was hurling insults at me, she still wouldn't open the lid to her lunchbox until I was there. I pulled out my lunchbox swiftly and dragged my chair over to join the circle. Hey, sorry to keep you waiting. Well then, representative me, please give the signal to start. At first, this was kind of embarrassing, but I got used to it pretty fast. At this point, I probably wouldn't even open my own lunchbox if someone else was too slow. Our ages and genders might have all been different, but we were all friends. Let's eat! The sound of our little 5-part chorus echoed beautifully throughout the classroom. Really though, I've gotten pretty used to this group made up of all girls. Of course, there are other boys in the class, but they were a lot younger, so they were scared to approach me. Well, that's to be expected. The younger boys just see older boys as scary. Oh. Compare that to girls? Well, at least these girls aren't picky. I thought girls would mind sharing a meal with a guy, so I was a bit flustered joining in. However, Mion noticed that and teased me quite a bit. As the fruit of my efforts, I can now reach over and take sides from anybody's lunch. My, isn't Sir Kiichi's lunch extravagant today? My, isn't Madame Satoko's lunch extravagant as well? The stewed stuff has a nice look to it, rather trendy. Buying into the fight that Satoko was starting, our chopsticks locked on a cross counter, stabbing into each other's lunch. My, how delicious! Oh, this taro is good. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that. The stewed stuff is good too, even cold. After seeing my happy face, Rika-chan's expression broke into a little smile. I saved some from dinner last night. By the way, Satoko and Rika-chan's lunches are always the same. It seems that Rika-chan makes it for both of them every day. Rika-chan made this too. These taste like Mum's home cooking. I was honestly impressed. The carrot rosettes weren't from a mould. They were done by hand with a knife. That's not easy to do. I guess Rika-chan's just good with this sort of thing. She's really good at sewing, laundry, and stuff like that. Amazing, right? Amazing. Rika is quite exceptional in many ways. That's nothing for you to boast about. Ren is actually better at cooking than I am. Huh? Well, you know. It seemed that the topic of conversation switched to Rena when she wasn't expecting it, making her blush and trip over her words. Rena's lunch really was the star of the table. Not only did it look good, it tasted good. Everyone else pulled from Rena's lunchbox constantly. Everyone liked this one so much before, so I made a lot this time. It's good, I hope. It's got high marks from me. Mion, you're talking too much. Taking too much. Sorry, Mion, that was a bit harsh. Knocking Mion's chopsticks aside, I reached out, trying to secure my own portion. Satoko and Rika-chan reached over at the same time, and a struggle ensued. Everyone shoveled in mouthful after mouthful, while praising it, and Rena's lunchbox was soon empty. It was kind of bad that no one thought to leave any for Rena, but Rena seemed rather satisfied as she looked on. How did you like it? Isn't Rena-san an extremely good cook too? Quite different from Keiichi-san. I said that's nothing for you to boast about. You're not much different from Kei-chan, Satoko. Can you tell me the difference between broccoli and cauliflower yet? Satoko's face went pale. Hey, even I can tell the difference between broccoli and cauliflower, you know? Of course I can. I really can. It's really hard for her to lie. Keiichi-kun, both taste good when they're boiled and topped with mayo, right? You shouldn't be picking on her. Mi-chan too. Rena hurriedly tried to follow up, but Mion laughed haughtily as she drew closer to Satoko. Well, just pretend it's a little home ec lesson. Now then, Satoko, what's this? Mion lifted her chopsticks. Between them was a piece of green stuff wrapped in bacon. But that's asparagus. Mion made eye contact with me, and within 3 seconds I had Rika-chan's mouth covered. Holding a piece of bacon-wrapped asparagus and giving her 2 chopsticks, she's pretty terrible. The yellow one is cauliflower. No wait, the green one is cauliflower. So which, probably the yellow one is broccoli and the blue one is cauliflower, but the green one is, do you really know which is which? How about you just give up? I'd expect no less from the class representative. The oldest. The way she drives people into a corner just shows how much experience she has. This is just a hunch, but being brought into the Sonozaki household must be quite the ordeal. I do know. I really do. Then answer the question. I know. She finally broke down and started crying. When she acts like this, she actually starts to seem her age. Oh, cute. Rena's entered a state of euphoria as Satoko bawled her eyes out. Rena was in a state of bliss as she rubbed her cheek against Satoko's head and smothered her. Really a very content face. One that wouldn't care if the world ended right now, right then. It was that kind of smile. Rena, Rena! Mimi is pecking on me. Ah! Cute, cute. It's okay, Rena Oni-chan. Rena Oni-chan? Oh, she's referring to herself. Rena Oni-chan will take care of all those bad people who tease my little sister. Oh, whoosh, biff, bam. It was like a flash of lightning. What was that just now? Both Rena's fists shot out at supersonic speeds, striking Mion and me squarely in our faces. Before we knew it, Mion and I were sprawled spread eagle on the floor, staring up at the ceiling with matching welts on our faces. This is the first time you've gotten one, right? Today, she went easy on us. Easy? You mean there's something harder than this? With that, Mion and I both slumped our heads back on the floor in unison. From now on, I'll be careful when I'm within striking distance of Rena. Never underestimate a woman. See, Satoko-chan? I took care of them. Cute. I want to take you home. Making sure Rena couldn't see it, Satoko stuck her tongue out at us. Damn. Using Rena like a puppet. Rika-chan massaged our bruises without saying a word. No matter what the day held, the last school bell always came too soon. Our shadows stretched off into the distance. Hey, Kichi-kun, tomorrow do you have plans or anything? Huh? It was such a direct question from Rena that I inadvertently blushed. If it was for a date, then wouldn't you do it more subtly? Rena saw me lost for words and realised that I'd misunderstood, and turned red as well. No, I didn't mean it like that. You see? So apparently that wasn't what she meant. But since it's always fun when Rena's in a panic, I went along with it a little. Oh really? So it wasn't meant that way? Huh? Playing it up, I slumped my shoulders, feigning dejection. Kichi-kun? Why are you so disappointed? Why? Me-chan! Unable to hold it in any longer, Mion slapped me on the back. I see. This old geezer never knew you could push your buttons like that. Huh? What? What is it? Mion was rolling on the floor, clutching her stomach, while Rena flailed around, completely bewildered. I couldn't help but start laughing as well. Feeling just a bit guilty, I ruffled Rena's hair. Kidding, sorry, it was a joke. That was my fault. She really is a cute one. A joke? Since when? About halfway through. Halfway? So, Kei-chan, that means you weren't acting when you blushed at the start? Huh? That means... It was only a momentary lapse, but there was no way Mion would let such a delectable detail slip by her. Well, you see, saying anything more was also a bad idea. In my bewildered state, I slipped further into an unfavourable position. After that, Mion continued to tease me about it for a while. So, why were you asking if I'm free tomorrow, Rena? Huh? Oh, what were we talking about? It had been so long that Rena had forgotten. That's how long Mion had teased me. It's just, Kei-chan, you probably can't find your way around Hinamazawa by yourself yet, can you? That was true. I hate to say it, but if you blindfolded me and spun me around 3 times, like we're playing pin the tail on the donkey, I wouldn't be able to tell up from down here. Yeah, I don't think I know how to get anywhere besides back and forth from school. Yes, so you see, tomorrow, we were thinking that Mii-chan and I could escort you through Hinamizawa and show you around. That would be a godsend. Frankly, I was happy about the offer. You'll come, of course, right? If I'm free. You're being invited by a girl, you know. If I'm free. You're probably free anyways. If I'm free. I was being stubborn so as not to give a clear yes or no. Even though I thought it was a godsend, I'm too much of a scamp to say so up front. Keiichi-kun, you're not free perhaps? Perhaps? While Mion and I had rather sour back and forth, Rena peeked over at me hesitantly. Figuring I'd been a bit rough on her, I just gave in. Sorry, forgive me. I apologise. I'm free. Great. The trepidation disappeared from Rena's face as it blossomed into a smile. Hey now. Seems like there's quite a difference between how cold you are to me compared to Rena, isn't there? It seems Mion didn't care for how rude I was to her, compared to how quickly I agreed with Rena. But her being annoyed was very interesting. So I pushed Rena forward, speeding up her pace to leave Mion behind. Let's go, Rena. Maybe it should just be the 2 of us tomorrow. Leave grumpy old Mion behind. Huh? Whoa, if Keiichi-kun is okay with that, then... I'm the one who came up with the idea to take him around. Don't ignore me, Keiichi how do you say his second name again? Keiichi Maibara? You can all laugh at me in the comments. Keiichi Maibara. Interesting. Let me put in Keiichi's full name to YouTube. Keiichi Maibara. 100? What is this video? Evidence 02. 15,000 ways to say Maibara Keiichi. Go for it then. I didn't mean for this to turn into a reaction video. Keiichi Maibara. Sorry, it probably doesn't sound right in my accent. Okay, anyway. Don't ignore me, Keiichi Maibara. It'd be great if the 2 of us could go on a picnic together. Should we bring a basket, Rena? If we bring a basket, I'll make all the food. Maybe. Don't you ignore me too, Rena. I'll tell everyone that you 2 disappeared into the hotel district together. Well then, I'm going home right now to start making it. Tomorrow is going to be so fun. Later, Keiichi-chan. Keiichi-kun, Mii-chan, bye! Rena bounded off like she was walking on the moon. After the dust settled, all that was left was me standing next to Mion sprawled out on the ground. There was a welt on her face. Are you alright? There was over 2 meters between you guys. Since you came, they've become sharper. The old geezer's body can't handle it. Maybe it'd be easier if you stopped saying stuff that makes Rena want to hit you. Or else this will end up being a Mion slapstick comedy hour. If that happened, the result might be fatal. Don't feel bad, Mion. You're probably the only one who can dodge her jabs. It felt like it was her knee, though. Could it be that we were hanging around with an unrivaled martial arts master? Maybe someday we'll see her debut in an extreme contact sport. You can't lose to Rena. You need to train up and have a rematch. Kei-chan, you should... This old geezer will root for you. Mion and I reaffirmed our determination to discover a way to counter Rena's infallible technique. You have received new tips. We're a mixed grade. We don't have a uniform. You're all tips because they're all new. So Rena, we're the same age? Yes, that's right. We're the same zodiac animal too. Hey now, it would be weird if we were the same age, but not the same zodiac animal. That's not true. If your birthday isn't the same, then you can have different animals even if you're the same age. Huh? Oh, I see. Mion, you're pretty smart. What month were you born, by the way, Kichi-kun? I'm July. Rena smirked and puffed up with pride. Hey now, what's the meaning of this? She's not planning to be all high and mighty if her birthday is a wee bit sooner than mine, is she? What is this Scottish language in there? Is a wee bit sooner? Oh my goodness. Don't even. It's impossible to challenge me by birthday. I wouldn't even mind if you bet $1 per month. Huh? Huh? Why? Why? Rena panicked at suddenly being challenged to a wager. Given how panicked she is, I'm certain she doesn't have much allowance left this month. It's just, sending her into a panic about something as simple as a birthday is so fun, I can't help myself. So that means you were born in April, Kei-chan? Right on. Too bad, Rena. I'm already far older than Rena. Oh, I see. Then you're the same age as me, Chan. Well, it's just a few months. That gap will open up again soon enough. Mion snickered through her nose. Hey now, that's not something to get all high and mighty about. As if I'm one to talk. Now that you mention it, you're in a higher grade, right, Mion? Then Satoko and Rika-chan are underclassmen. Their grade is so different that they should be in a different school, shouldn't they? I wondered about it before, yeah. I was wondering why this school has different years all mixed up. There aren't enough classrooms. Can't help it. This building is being rented from the forestry services after all. When she says it like that, it makes sense. I thought our school was strange for a while now. The schoolyard is gravel. There are rooms that aren't for classes, and there's some strange sort of construction machinery parked here. Why is it being borrowed? What happened to the real school? There was one here forever from before the war. It got dilapidated. They closed it down. It probably was a grand old schoolhouse. Well, because of that, the students would have to attend the school in the city. That's pretty far though, you know. Which school would that be? Did you know there's a school if you pass by the Okinomiya train station, turn at the hospital and head towards the pediatrics department? What? So far? I couldn't tell where that was by the location, but I understood it was pretty far from Rena's reaction. Well, that's why. The guys that didn't want to commute to Okinomiya rented out the building from the forestry services and are attending this pseudo schoolhouse here. About half the children in Hinamazawa go here. There are quite a lot of kids that come here on bike. Well, since they're attending this really messed up school, it might be pretty hard for them to get into higher education. And that's not true, Mii-chan. If you study properly, you can go anywhere you want. Yeah, that's right, that's right. I totally agree with Rena on this one. Yes, that's right, that's right. Let's try our best. That's cute. All of you, try your best. This old man will be rooting for you. Not just us, you too. You should be preparing for exams, shouldn't you? Your future is bleak with grades like this. Fine, just fine. If I get stuck, then I'll just mooch off Kei-chan as he works forever. Oh, what do you mean by work forever? What do you mean? Hey, you're too loud. Be quiet during self-study. The teacher yelled at all three of us. It was completely our fault. Satoko saw it and chortled haughtily. I stuck my tongue out at her in response. It is just as Mion says. This school has nothing to do with higher education. But it makes up for that by having lots of valuable things other schools don't. Like what? It's only June, but it's already so hot. I could hear the Higurashi outside chirping. Me. And at night there are mosquitoes. It might as well be summer already. My only salvation was that the mornings were still cool. Summer, I do declare. Sorry, I'm just laughing because it reminds me of like Blair St. Clair, I do declare. Satoko was flapping her skirts languidly. Rena's summer clothes have a nice refreshing colour. I feel cooler just looking at them. Thank you. They really do feel pretty cool. I do wish my summer clothes were as breezy as Rena's. But Satoko-chan, your summer clothes are so cute, being a one piece and all. I'd like to wear your summer clothes. This is actually quite stuffy, you know. I do believe what you're wearing would feel much cooler. But it would be so much more fun with cute clothes. I had the feeling that Rena and Satoko's base values were fundamentally different. Speaking of which, our school doesn't have a uniform. Yeah, it doesn't. As long as they're proper, then regular clothes are fine. There are quite a few students in regular clothes. There were a few wearing uniforms, but they were all the same design and rather plain. What's the uniform they're all wearing? They're all the same. That's a city school's uniform. It's not like there's a rule, but they're all wearing them. Speaking of which, everyone in our group is wearing a different uniform, aren't we? Did you go out of your way to get them from somewhere? Why yes, Mion-san supplied them. Mi-chan's relative runs a second-hand clothing store. They can get school clothes from all over the country for cheap, they say. So, you asked those relatives to get a bunch of unique school uniforms then? That Mion, she probably loves using her friends as dress-up dolls. That must be a strange second-hand clothing store. I get that it's a second-hand clothing store, but stocking clothes from schools all over the country? That's pretty strange for a second-hand clothing store. What's the point in stocking up clothes from faraway schools they know nothing about? Yeah, I think so too. Okay. I think we'll play for like 15 minutes more, and then we'll call it quits. Oh, I think that's the end of chapter 1, actually. Because that says end of chapter 1. Right, so let's continue. I took it a little too easy on the morning of my day off. I was totally late. I need to go down a bit. Today was the day Rena and Mion were going to show me around Hinamazawa. Rena and Mion were already waiting at the meeting place. I wonder what the other sprites look like for this bit. Can I change it? Yeah, I can actually. Cool, let's go with these ones for the next section. I like a change. Rena and Mion were already waiting at the meeting place. Kei-chan, you're late. Sorry. The show I was watching last night was very interesting. Blame that. Oh, so that's your excuse for being late and keeping two girls waiting? Mi-chan, you just got here yourself. Ah. Last night's episode of A Day in the Life of was interesting, wasn't it? She was just as guilty as me. Rena was carrying a pretty heavy-looking handbag. What is that? Mion answered my unspoken question with a wink. That's right, Rena really did make a picnic. Kei-chan, after you left, Rena pulled out all the stops. It's not like I forced her to do it. It was nothing, so don't worry about it, okay? She's been like this since last night, you know. Can you take responsibility for this? Alright, I am a man after all. I'll take responsibility. Kichi, you're a boy, let's be honest. Huh? Responsibility? For what? For what? As we both turned around slowly to look at Rena, our gazes drifted downwards to the massive handbag she was carrying. It didn't seem logically feasible that it would be entirely filled with lunchboxes. Except this was Rena we were talking about here. About 2 kilos, I guess. When Rena was picking it up, I could see she was struggling a bit. I say 5. You're exaggerating. Kichi-kun is a boy after all. I thought he could probably eat a lot, so I made a lot, okay? Let's get going. Heave ho. Just from the way she was lifting it up, I couldn't believe that the only things in there were lunchboxes. Correction, I say 5 kilos too. I'll help out, but all of it needs to be eaten. I won't forgive you if you make Rena sad, got it? The only thing I could do at that moment was exercise a bit to make myself hungrier. Having finished with the pleasantries, we began our leisurely stroll. A carefree walk, bathed in the gentle morning sunlight. I couldn't have even imagined something so wholesome existed during my time in the city. These were the boonies after all. Don't know how to say that. Desk jockeys trudging to work on the weekends out here. It really was a nice place, peaceful and quiet. As sparsely populated as the village was, you could still run into people just by walking around. Ah, good day. Good day. Oh, you would be my Barakan. My Barakan, I believe. My 2 companions exchanged greetings with everybody we ran across. All of these passers-by even knew my name. When did I become this famous? We passed 3 people, and when all 3 of them knew me, I started to feel a bit paranoid. It's a bit sad to say. Everyone knows everyone since there are so few people here in Hinamazawa. So that means when an unfamiliar face walks by, they automatically assume it's that Maibara fella who just moved here. Yeah, that's how it works out. It was a process of elimination you could only pull off in a place like this, but it was quite effective. From now on, I'd make sure to maintain a good reputation. That's not the end of this nightmare. Of course I know them. The first person we met was old man Takezao from the Makino bike shop. His hobbies are bonsai and playing the flute. Next we met the grocer's second son, Daisuke-kun. His hobby is sharp shooting, and he hopes to become an ace sniper in the future. And the person we just met was Mio-san, the nurse from the clinic. Her hobbies are birdwatching and photography. You know, the names of everyone we pass by. And even their profiles? Seeing my surprise, Mion and Rena exchanged looks and burst into laughter. Well, yeah, we're not like the city, where people hardly know their neighbours. Then let's try it out. You there, who am I? You're Kiichi, my Bara. You say some mean things, but you're actually a kind, shy person. It's been 3 weeks since you transferred here. Your hobby is taking afternoon naps. This feels more like you guys are showing me off rather than showing me around. That's right. We are parading around like this after all. Don't you all think so too? That Kei-chan is fitting right in here in Hinamazawa? The population of Hinamazawa is shrinking, so the villagers welcome anyone who's new here. I thought about brushing it off with something to the effect of, "You're kidding me," but I held back. Had I ever greeted someone who just moved into the city like this before? Thinking about that made me believe what they said wasn't a joke at all. We passed another person. Of course, we were called out to again the same way. "Oh my, good day. It's wonderful seeing you getting along. This lady here is Fujishima-san." "Good day." "Oh my Bara-kun. How wonderful for you, having a lovely girl on each arm. How are you? Getting used to life here?" Instead of regurgitating a prepared response, like I would have in the city, I responded with an empathetic nod. The old woman chuckled, voicing her appreciation of how energetic I was. "Good." As I looked back over to Rena and Mion, they gave me a wink. "So now then, about time to have lunch, maybe? Rena's brilliant smile signalled the approach of an event that both Mion and I were trying to forget. We both looked at each other. I'm a man, I'll do what I can. But it's just too much. "It's fine, Kei-chan. Leave it to this old man." Mion had never seemed as reliable as she does right now. I'd expect no less from the class representative. "Rena, if we're going to eat, we might as well go somewhere with a good view." "Oh, yes. Good idea. I agree." Rena nodded her head happily in response to Mion's proposal. Cresting the top of a stone stairway, a shrine drawn straight out of my imagination appeared before us. It had worn down a bit through the years, but the fallen leaves had been swept up, giving it a tidy feeling. This here is the Furude Shrine. It's probably the place with the best view around. This place, be sure to remember it. On our next break, a festival will be held here. Ah, isn't it a bit too early in the season for a festival? The Watanagashi isn't a summer festival. Long ago, it used to be a celebration of the end of winter. I was embarrassed for assuming that festivals had to be held in the summer. Now then, spread out the lunch boxes, and there. Various coloured lunch boxes were placed one after the other on top of the plastic sheet. It sure did smell delicious. It was Rena's home cooking. It went without saying that it would be delicious. But is it even possible to finish all this? Hey Mion, it'll take more than just a good view to get all this down, you know. Good afternoon. It was Rika-chan and Satoko. Why were they here? Mion grinned over at me. I see. This was her secret plan, to power in the numbers. You have my thanks, Mion. Following up when all the pieces are in place is my specialty. We just had to come since there was such a commotion. What is the meaning of this? Take a look. It's time for lunch. Buffet style. A homemade gourmet meal by Rena. I can see that much. Why have you laid out a trap on our property? The temple is public grounds, it's not yours. Kiichi's right. This is everyone's property. Wow, Rika-chan is such a good girl. Have a seat. Eat with us. After opening up a spot for Rika-chan, I promptly turned my back on Satoko. Hold on a second. Where's my spots? No spot for you and nothing to eat. Don't worry, there's some for you too. None. I'll eat all of hers. I will not allow that. Rika? Here, chopsticks. Both Satoko and I leapt at the boxes, having it out with each other. Man, really, Kiichi-chan, you're really good at leading people on. You may have a talent for this. Have a plate, one for me-chan, and Rika-chan too. Rena whipped out pairs of chopsticks and paper plates. If we don't hurry, it'll all be eaten up. That's right, okay. Shall we commence this battle? Please eat a lot. There's enough for everyone, Rena said as she opened up the thermos. Just then, I realised that this lunch was made under the assumption that 5 people would be eating. It didn't change how much there was, but the implication behind it was different. I will not allow you to have this hamburger. Hark! Using your elbows against the rules, Satoko. Grabbing the back of my collar is also against the rules. It was a tough battle. Blocking her with full momentum and an elbow in the opening moves, Satoko appeared to have the upper hand, but the difference in our proficiency with chopsticks proved to be fatal and gave me the upper hand. Ah, the last meatball! I don't know why that's funny, it just says, Satoko Hojo has been bested, nom. Satoko and I amicably began choking at the same time, falling backwards and spasming. Rika-chan petted me on the head to clear it, even though it was actually stuck in my throat. This is how our meals usually go. I'd do anything in my power, just so things could stay like this. The intense battle calmed, and finally everyone reached the point where they could begin talking. Receiving tea from the thermos, I let out a small sigh. I do wonder why there are so few words in the Japanese to praise how something tastes. Isn't it because the idea of togetherness during a meal didn't begin until the modern era? It seems that, long ago, people ate in silence. It must have made the people preparing the food a bit sad, don't you think? It's probably because back then people were busy while eating and didn't have the time to compliment the flavour. That's just you. But you know, just hearing that it's good makes me happy. But you know, just hearing that it's good makes me happy. That my effort was worth it, I mean. She blushed a little as she said that. It was delicious. With absolutely perfect timing, Rika-chan struck Rena directly with praise. She looked straight at her with an expression of bewitching innocence. To reward Rika-chan for her praise, ta-da! These are special. 2 apple rabbits. After sticking toothpicks into them, she thrust them toward Rika-chan. After Rika-chan accepted them, the mood suddenly shifted in a bizarre way. What is it, Satoko? What's with that defiant look? Has everyone prepared proper praise to receive apples from Rena-san? Don't push yourself. What kind of praise can you think up with your weak vocab? Ho ho ho! Well then, allow me to show you. After Satoko flashed Mion and me a defiant look, she changed the tone of her voice suddenly. Hey, so Rena Oni-chan's lunch? Satoko thought it was yummy too. Satoko looked up at her poutily while talking cutesy. Wow, how was that praise? That's not even persuasion by tears, that's persuasion by cuteness, isn't it? This is Rena's limited. This is a Rena limited special skill. She blushed and her head spun, waving around in circles. Don't fall for it, Rena. Hello. Of course, that was asking for the impossible. Rena glomped. Oh my goodness. I've not heard that word since like 2014. Rena glomped Satoko and began rubbing her cheek against her. Stab! Push! Satoko was presented with apple rabbits. After stuffing them into her mouth, she looked at Mion and me again with that defiant gaze. It took only 5 seconds to take down Rena. That's unfair. To think she had such a trick. If it upsets you so much, why not reward Rena-san with some praise? Damn it. This was a dirty trick. First of all, that wasn't even praise. Satoko, you think you've won with that, don't you? How about I show you guys something much better than your superficial gimmicks? That sounds great, Mion. What kind of trick is it? Kei-chan is going to be the one who does it. What? Ho ho ho! Why don't I have you show me then? The writhing of an old maid. What kind of expression is that? The plan of attack she suggested was wicked, but it was the only thing we had to beat Satoko. After sipping my tea, I started talking, very naturally and calmly. Perfectly. It really is good, isn't it? This is all freshly made, right? No. Actually, most of it, almost all of it, was frozen stuff. Then, which ones did you make fresh? Well, it's embarrassing, do I really have to say, must I? From the synergy of a boy plus handmade lunchbox, her expression has melted into euphoria. I already know this one, right? Rena turned an even deeper shade of red. The words, I can't believe it, practically written on her face. How can you tell? How? That I made it. Of course, Mion had told me beforehand. It's been perfect so far. Acting like I was shy, I waited a beat. Next would be the finisher. Oh, that's just weird. No, Kei-chan. Silence enveloped the area. Rena, face still completely red, froze solid. With a small yelp, Satoko also blushed. Of course I did too. I sure would like to try one of Rena's handmade apple rabbits or something. Even if this was because I was competing against Satoko, it felt like I had crossed the line by a good 9 yards, I think. Then at that moment, whoosh! It was the Tupperware container filled with rabbits. Please eat some, Keiichi-kun. There's plenty for you. What? Instantly, dozens of apples were shoved into my mouth, knocking me over. Okay, say Keiichi-kun. My head was forcibly laid upon her lap, and even more apples were shoved into my mouth. While she was squealing, one apple after another was forced into my mouth, more and more apples. How about them apples? Hooks, slimy. How about them apples, Satoko? Looks like we win. Kei-chan, that was a beautiful sacrifice. How's that, Satoko? This is our complete victory, isn't it? I can't believe it. Such trickery. It doesn't bother me at all. Satoko ground her teeth, mortified. We did it. I claimed victory as my consciousness drifted slowly away from me. At that time, Rena stopped her squealing as she suddenly realized something. Rika-chan, you're not eating it. Did the salt water make it too strong? Maybe. Looking over, Rika-chan had pulled the toothpick out of the apple rabbit, placed it into her cupped hands, and seemed to be at a loss for what to do. Poor Mr. Rabbit, I feel sorry for him. I want to save him. Aw. Now they're all just fine, Kay? Here, I give them to you, Rika-chan. Kay? Kay? Rika-chan raised up Sato's hand like a referee. After having that plate of rabbits shoved to her, she whispered, "This is our victory." What? A comeback? I just don't care anymore. Thus, my sacrifice ended up being in vain. There's a lot of eating in the initial chapters, isn't there? It was a fun-filled, crazy day. But as soon as the sun began to set, the end of the day really did come quickly. Later, Rena and Kei-chan, see you tomorrow. Thanks for today, Mion. I had a great time. See you tomorrow. Satoko and Rika-chan went home as well. We parted ways with Mion, and it ended with just Rena and myself enjoying the evening air on our way home. Thanks for coming today, Keiichi-kun. Was it fun? Yeah. Lots of fun. Almost feels like a waste to go home now. Ah, then, well, would you mind taking a little detour? Maybe? A detour? Is it far? It's a bit of a walk, but it won't take long. Since we had been walking around all day, I must have seemed a bit tired. Not feeling like teasing Rena, I quietly nodded. Traversing a small path and up a small hill, the land suddenly stretched out before us. There, what looked like the remains of a dilapidated construction site came into view. A large heap of garbage spread off towards the swamp. Probably illegal dumping. I recalled it being in the newspaper. It's been quite a while. I wonder what's here. When you say it's been a while, you mean the business you had here was with this garbage pile? It's not garbage. To me, it's a pile of treasure. Rena had already entered that well-known cute mode of hers. So that meant there was something cute here? Whoa, a new pile. I can't wait. She bounded up an unstable slope. I expect no less from a born and bred country girl. Hey, wait, I'm coming. Whoa. My city-raised self was completely pitiful. It's alright, just stay right up there, Keiichi-kun. It won't take long. Rena kindly declined my accompaniment. Don't fall. Watch your step. I'm fine. This is nothing at all. Literally bounding up the heap of trash, Rena disappeared over the other side. I didn't like being left behind, but I was still pretty tired from the whole day, so I just ended up waiting. Without the lively Rena around, the surrounding area quickly fell into silence. The city of the Higurashi gently cooled the air. Fairly exhausted, I began to feel a little sleepy. That was an authentic yawn. Just then, the sudden noise of scattering pebbles alerted me to somebody's presence. Startled, I turned around.